So let's start with this. What were the worst and the best parts of your life?
Oh, the best part was owning a very small weekly newspaper in Northern California. I truly enjoyed that work more than anything I've ever done. And while I was there, I won the award for the best editorial written in California in that year.
What was the subject?
The subject was a rather complicated one. Many parts of the country were having trouble economically, and these were called, the government named them depressed areas. And our little county was designated a depressed area. Well, many of us businessmen in that little town, 3,500 people only, but we had put our money together and we were developing a economic improvement association and trying to improve the economy. It didn't help when the government declared us a depressed area. Nobody was going to come and start a business in a depressed area. So I wrote an editorial, the headline of which was, "Lie down and be depressed, damn you." And that gained a lot of international attention. I was written up in the Newsweek magazine and other places. The San Francisco Chronicle reprinted my editorial.
I did not know that. And
Yeah.
we must have it somewhere.
Probably, you know, when we moved, I somehow lost that because I had it framed. I don't know what's happened to it. It may be
in storage.
Maybe in storage. But I look back on that, and I remember I showed that editorial to a professor of journalism at University of Washington. I was very proud of it and another editorial I'd written. And he says, "Oh, there are many technical errors." And I thought, I was heartbroken because I had great respect for this teacher of journalism. And then I thought later on, bullshit, pardon me. I thought, my goodness, I'm satisfied with this, and the whole damn state of California declared it the best editorial. So I don't care whether there were technical errors or not. And that's the way I feel to this day.
If it got international attention, or nowadays we would call that going viral.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe we can get it going again.
It did go viral. At least Newsweek liked it.
So then the other half of the question was, what was the worst?
What was the worst event? Well, it's a very personal thing. Your grandmother left me, and she stayed away for a long time. And at that time we had 4 children, and it was very, very painful because when she left me, she took the 4 children, and I didn't get a chance to see them for a long, long time. But then she decided that she would like me again. We got together, and then we had your mom, and that kept us together.
What was there any books that had a big impact on you that you read?
Yes, was one, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell you about it. It was a book by a famous author named Ayn Rand, Aynrand, and it was called Atlas Shrugged. And she was advocating, she was in favor of the free enterprise system without any interruption, without any impediment from the government. And I loved that book when I first read it, and I later discovered it was really not a very good book, and it was silly. But other than that, the book that I liked most was the History of the United States by two authors, Morrison and Commager, Commager, and Morrison, Morrison. And I truly loved that book. I particularly liked the chapters about the American Civil War. The reason for that is that my grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, actually fought in the Civil War. In that war, 600,000 men were killed, and that is more than died in all of America's other wars. World War II, World War I, Spanish-American War, Revolutionary War, more than all of those wars combined. It was a dramatic and terrible war. And right now, the most popular movie in the United States is about that war. It's about the President of the United States during the war, a man named Abraham Lincoln.
And that must have been a giant book.
They were big books, yeah, two thick volumes. And I seem to have misplaced one of them. I don't know, maybe in storage too.
Have you been to every continent?
No, I have not been to Australia, but I've been to every other continent. Been to Europe and all over Asia. We lived in Pakistan. I was in India for some time. I was in Vietnam just before the war started. I was in Burma, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong. I was in Vladivostok briefly. Of course, I've been all over the Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland. I've been in Russia. Yeah.
Of all the places you visited, was there one that you never wanted to leave but had to?
Yes.
And was there one that you couldn't wait to leave?
The country that I loved most was India, and particularly northern India. I went to a city that was about 7,000 feet altitude called Kalimpong. The weather was just to die for. They had rhododendrons there that were native, 30 feet high. And then also in India there was Assam State, which is a very large province in the eastern part of India. As far as a country where I wanted to leave, you know, I can't say that I found any place that I truly disliked. Every place I went to was interesting. I really can't think of one that I disliked.
You enjoyed every sandwich.
Well, the food is another matter. The food of India is good, but on occasion it was not good. Very primitive food, and I got very sick in India. I almost died from intestinal problems, and your grandmother almost died as well. We were not in the diplomatic corps. The diplomats, the consul general and the consuls and the ambassadors could all import food from the United States, and the food they had was clean, pure, but we had to live on the native food, and it was not very good.
I have one more question.
I have a couple more too.
Okay, you go, Fee.
Is it related to his thing?
That's whatever you want, and then we can reformat or whatever.
Okay. I know you sailed a lot. When was the first time you've ever sailed?
Well, first time I ever sailed was in California. I had no. The first time I ever sailed, I was still in the Navy. I bought a little 14-foot, pardon me,
You want something to drink?
a 14-foot sailboat, and I was living in Florida. I spent my last year in the Navy in Florida, and this was on the St. John River, a very large river, and I used to sail that boat back and forth across that river, but then later I got much better sailboats.
What was the biggest sailing trip you've ever done?
I sailed from Olympia, Washington to Alaska.
That's a big sailing trip.
It was, as the crow flies, it was more than 1,000 miles. I probably traversed 2,500 miles to get to my destination. The furthest north that I got was to a place called Baranof Island, and Baranof Island is one of the 3 large islands in southeast Alaska. Admiralty Island, Baranof Island. Oh, thank you, Alex.
Well, I know when you do a lot of talking.
Yeah. Baranof Island, Admiralty Island, and Chichagof Island were 3 of the main islands in southeast Alaska. They were famous for something else. They had the highest number of grizzly bears of any place in the world. And a grizzly bear is to be avoided. A grizzly bear will kill you just for the fun of it. They are bad, bad, bad.
Bad news bears.
And your Auntie Sarah and Auntie April came up to Alaska to be with me. And we hiked deep into Baranof Island. And it was the fall of the year. We noticed in the mud on the trail there were footprints like that, and it was a grizzly bear, probably weighing 1,500 pounds, which is
Whoa.
almost 1 ton.
That is a lot.
But they didn't bother us because it was the salmon spawning season, and the grizzlies love salmon. And so they were filled with salmon, and they didn't need to eat us.
You're lucky.
Yes, we felt lucky, believe me. We had to hike a long distance into this we hiked a long distance into the depths of Baranof Island and found a little cabin in there, and we were glad to get to the cabin because we could be protected from the grizzlies.
All right, so, do you have any other questions?
No, I thought that was very successful.
Well, I've got one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, 89 years. What is the most important thing that you learned
you're here
you
on
would like to
Sunday.
share
Yeah,
with
you know.
kids to help them?
I was doing the
Take
ice
care
cream
of it.
social this afternoon. So, see you tomorrow, Larry.
Yeah.
That's a difficult question because one acquires so much information in 89 years. The first thing that came to mind is to be kind and patient with other people. Don't ever let yourself get too angry with anything or anybody. I think that's the most important thing I've learned.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Well, what do you say?
Thank you.
You're most welcome. I'm honored to be interviewed by my intelligent grandson and my intelligent daughter and granddaughter.
We were just saying.
Well, I guess we can end it there.